All right, we back with part 3. It's probably only a few of you guys hanging in there. You know, we humans, y'all have a very short attention span lately. We have gotten so used to and accustomed to little crumbs and blips of information. TikTok then got y'all spoiled, and there is no longer real teaching that people desire. They feel like it's not necessary. But let me just give you all a little warning. Yes, fun police. With the increase of information, that seems like it's a good thing, and to a certain degree it is. However, you have to be very cautious. You still need to exercise discernment, and when you're getting little bite-sized pieces of information, it's very, very easy to just absorb and digest that stuff. I'm going to tell you why. Because same way with food, them little bite-sized morsels are easy to take down and swallow down whole without taking into consideration if you're really receiving the truth. When you get information, a lot of times when you're getting like truth, it has to be digested. This is one of the reasons why even when you were back in, if you came through religion, and I call it chewing the cud, they would give you an example of like memorizing scripture or taking in the information. You have to take it in, like you'll get it all in. At that time, you can't process it. You got cognitive dissonance going on. You can't really process that. Well, this was my process at church. Okay. Listening to the pastor is entertaining. It's entertaining. Most people stop there. When they leave church, that's it. That's all, and they go on about their day until the next episode where they come back and they get, a summary of the word. I was different. I would take that word and every scripture that the pastor went over during his sermon, I had written them down, highlighted in my Bible, and then through the week I would study it, and I would go back and I would meditate on that word. Now, even though a lot of that information was, how can I put this? Because people have gotten to the point to where they think that once you realize that religion is false, they throw out everything. But there's a measure of truth in all biblical works, and it's there for the seeker. So I would apply that particular formula to the way I study, and I was able to transcend. I went right up out of that Bible and on to bigger things. It was a gateway. It was a stepping stone to get to higher spiritual truths. This is why some people still in the Bible right now, because they never go further and they never meditate on the word. You have to chew the cud like cows do. Cows eat and graze and eat, and they have 3 stomachs. And after they're finished eating, they bring it back up and chew it some more in order to get the most out of what they've eaten. They come back and they chew it again to make sure that they're extracting all of the vital nutrients, minerals, vitamins out of that food that they ate initially. Most people don't do that. They just take it down, take it down, take it in, take it in, take it in, take it in. So I went on down the street and around the corner to explain that the individuals who can sit through a course, or the individuals who can sit through something like this, you're called to a higher order, you're called to a higher work, because most sheep, no disrespect, most sheep like them little bite-sized morsels because it don't require any brain power. Just taking it in, hook, line, and sinker. Everybody right now has a platform. Everybody is Confucius. Everybody is Yeshua. Everybody has a platform and speaking into your ear. Everybody is in your face. I can't even scroll down. I really can't hit that the video button. Everybody is in your face trying to get you to pay attention to them. Paying attention. No. like I said, even this, I don't do a whole lot of videos. I want to put content here because it's I want to make it available so that whenever you have the opportunity, you can come listen. For instance, when you driving to work, if you driving to work, you got to commute or whatever, it's good to put something on that you can listen to and take in, and then come back and process the information. But anyway, I didn't want to get too deep with that. I just wanted to say it's a detriment to all of these platforms that have these quick little sound bites. And everybody's teaching and everybody is grasping. They're running around trying to find, the esoteric information and all of that. It's a good thing that information is abounding, but there's a difference between information and wisdom. Okay, just keep that in mind. Take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything with a grain of salt and run it by your higher guidance. That's one thing that you never hear them say. They just get up on their little soapbox on their podium and say, look what I found. Look at this. Did you know? They're saying that. And you just taking it in. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Never once are you going back and filtering that through your higher guidance to see if this is indeed true. Some of that stuff you need to just keep passing by, but I'm just fussing. Anyway, let's get to it, y'all. This is the third part of who are the Starseeds and what are they here for? All right, so this is where we left off before. Yet, just the same, all chose to come here to experience the shifting consciousness fields that were to take place under the condition of the phantom timeline of the 3D duality reality on Earth. It is no doubt the higher dimensional beings who now have a better idea about the conditions of living on Earth enthusiastically enunciate, praising our courage to have been able to endure so much atrocities on Earth for millennia. Note that the Starseeds have always been aware of psychotronic warfare that has existed on this planet. Despite this fact, they chose to come to this planet that required becoming embodied, just like any other Earth seed, to gather information to provide feedback to the members of their own planet, be it in this universe or the next, effectively acting as embodied intelligence portals. And although, as a result of AI implants and mind control programming to which all the sentient human inhabitants are subjected to, including some who have not yet awakened from slumber and even indulging in wasteful self. It feels like we read this before. Hold on, y'all. All right, well, we're just going to start from this place anyway. All right. Note that the Starseeds have always been aware of psychotronic warfare that has existed on this planet. Despite this fact, they chose to come to this planet that required becoming embodied, just like any other Earth seed, to gather information and provide feedback to the members of their own planet, be it in this universe or the next, effectively acting as embodied intelligence portals. And although, as a result of AI implants and mind control programming to which all the sentient human inhabitants are subject to, including some who have not yet awakened from slumber and even indulging a wasteful, self-destructive lifestyle, they are still to be equally praised for their courage, especially that they knew beforehand what atrocities they would be subject to while incarnated in 3D human bodies. Their mission has been to try to access the extent of damage and devastation to the Earth consciousness mechanics, that's the stargates, ley lines, the Earth grid, etc., and acquire knowledge through first-hand experience regarding some of the atrocities the human race has been subject to, including human abductions, genetic violations, involuntary hybridization, including the discovering the identities of the intruder races who have been responsible for such nefarious agendas. Now, I feel like I've already went through this in the previous video. If I did, I apologize. Let me just go ahead and reiterate, because I'm doing like several different things at one time. I'm recording these videos, then I'm creating pages and other videos for other parts. So I may have gone over this already. If so, just ride with me, okay? I just wanted to add in here that I had spoken to one of our sisters the other day, and she was saying how sad she was about, finding out about human trafficking and just thinking about how the baby suffered. And one of the things I said to her, and I want to say to you all, is the babies right now that you're finding out about that are underground, that's being rescued, and that whole narrative, I want y'all to keep in mind that we're multidimensional, but we're doing two things at one time. It's two timelines playing out at one time, and you're in both of these timelines. Okay, I want you, even though I know that it's hard to hear, especially when you start getting details of what's going on. Trust me, I know. But I was comforted later on. After I rallied, I got up and I was like, we got to do something. We got to help children. We got to do this, that, and the other. I mean, I spent 2 weeks one time crying about some information I had discovered being a tracker for satanic ritual abuse, and I was so disturbed. That thing hurt me to my heart. But later on, I was comforted in knowing, like us being here in the back office, that no babies have been harmed. No babies are suffering at this moment in time. All the babies that you've heard about are not, like, those little souls have been stepped out, and indigos and starseeds stepped into. I'm talking about consciousness. Their souls, their consciousness was stepped out, and starseeds stepped into those bodies. Now, this is why y'all hear me going so hard for the people who support abortion, because I know that starseeds have been incarnating into the planet in the last 100 years. We are surveying, we are taking surveillance, we are actually recording and finding out who's doing these things, and it's being reported back, because starseeds, the ones who incarnated in, are like little recorders. Like, everything that's being that we're seeing through our eyes is actually being projected back to the Intergalactic Association of Free Worlds. So we're able to see who's doing what. I told somebody one time, when I make those posts, and I put those posts out to solicit a response, I'm recording and I'm taking names and I'm giving that feedback back to the headquarters. Little do you know, when you come on and you start, going at me for actually asking people to do the right thing, all that is being recorded. How you think information get into the Akashic records? All these there are real individuals who take information and it gets recorded in the Akashic records. So all of this, when it's time for your heart to be weighed up against a feather and we pull your report, all our communication, your posts, your comments, your attitude, all of that is recorded. And it's recorded for a purpose. Now, for the individuals who are showing compassion, yours is recorded just as well. This is why we have to know how you feel about these things, because this is how we know if you move forward or if you're going to descend. All this information, and I know that it sounds, you think that it's a little bit more spiritual than that, but there are literal individuals who do all of this stuff in the divine administration. Everybody have their job, and this is how information is gathered. That's just one way. Let's put it that way. That's just one way information is gathered. So that's why I found it necessary. I really wanted to give this complete breakdown on starseeds, because we throw the name around like everybody think they're a starseed. That's not the case. However, let me preface that with a disclaimer, because I don't want people to feel like if you're a starseed that you better than somebody who's not a starseed, or if you're not a starseed, I don't want you to feel like you're not as good as a starseed. That's not what this is about. It's about different individuals having different jobs in the body. Every cell, everything, every person in the body has a function here. Everybody has a function. Okay, every individual, let's say it like that. Every individual has a function in the universal organism, in the universal body. Just like in your body, when there's a threat in your body, if you get sick or a virus comes in and invades your body, what happens? Antibodies come out in order to fight. They come out, they censor, they find out where the threat is, and then they go in and they eradicate the threat. They send in reinforcements and they overwhelm the threat and get it kicked out. That's what you see going on right now. It's necessary, okay? All right, so I found that it was very important to give the breakdown because this gave a complete and concise, um, it gave a clear and concise view as to what starseeds are here to do, their role and responsibilities. Now, everybody can be a light worker. Anybody can be a light worker. Anybody cannot be a starseed. Okay? Anybody who decides they want to pick up the mantle and do light work can do light work. It does not matter. Earth seeds who were actually rooted here, they're part of the root race, has a function as well. They are also taking surveillance. Star seeds incarnated and started being born in at a later time. So you have the earth seeds who were the root race who were initially seeded here, and then you have star seeds who came in later in order to anchor some of these energies in the planet in order to help the planet and humanity raise up. So anyway, let's press forward. All right. This way, an effective rescue program could be devised as to free up humanity from its entrapped state of unconscious enslavement, leading to restore freedom and sovereignty that is due to the human race inhabitants of Earth, once and for all, breaking this futile cycle of reincarnation and rebirth without the slightest possibility of genetic evolution for the Earth humanity. It is now clear that Earth humanity has suffered tremendously through satanic ritual abuse. Now, remember I told y'all it's amazing because before I had my awakening, and I was still in church, I used to be sitting back going, wow, no judgment, but why y'all not doing enough? Like, I just felt like the church people were not doing enough. So I managed to get myself over into the deliverance ministry because that was calling me. I don't know why. Well, now I do know why. But the deliverance ministry was calling me. So when I got over into the deliverance ministry, I realized it was so much more than just battling demons. It was like there was, how can I put it? It was not what I thought. It was so much more, so much deeper than I thought. And when I came across satanic ritual abuse, and I realized how there was an entire network of individuals working right up under the radar in our face. We're trusting our little ones to these individuals, right? Because they position themselves in schools, they're teachers, they're nurses, they're daycare workers, they're school bus drivers, they're athletic league coaches, they're at summer camps, and I could not believe it. I mean, my heart was broken. My heart was broken, and I realized that there were individuals, there were actual parents, parents who would take their children in to be satanically ritually abused. Like they live amongst you in your neighborhood. You speak to them, and their children at night, they taking their children to be ritually abused, or they have children specifically because they know that at a certain age they're going to offer them up as a sacrifice. I could not believe it. It blew my mind and it broke my heart, and it's one of the reasons why I worked so hard to bring my child out of school. Like, the only reason I put him initially in school was because I wasn't working, like, I didn't have to go to work 8 hours a day. I was only working like a few hours a day. I was doing home daycare. So I was at his school. I was in his teacher's face. I was there, like, I was the chaperone when they was going on field trips. I was like the class mom. I was bringing cupcakes. I was there in their face. And then when he went to kindergarten, with the school that was created by my church. It was affiliated with my church, right down from the church. So the teachers in there also went to the church. I knew them. I worked in Kids Scope. So I was around all the children and I was around all the teachers. Baby, that's the only reason my baby went to school. And once we saw that he wasn't doing well there, and how the teachers, my son is on the spectrum. They didn't know his first year teacher was a brand new teacher right out of college, and she didn't know what to do with the baby, so I would end up taking him out. Anyway, long story short, I was over in satanic ritual abuse. And I was reporting that back. I remember walking back and forth and back and forth. Ooh, I hope I don't cry. I was pacing, and it had to be like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. All I could do, I had been given this light, what I know now is light language. I thought I was speaking in tongues back then. And I tell this story in another video, how I got my tongues. My tongues did not sound nothing like the rest of the church. Like the whole rest of the church was saying something. And I used to be so ashamed to even speak in my light language because it sounded different. But now I realize it sounded different because mine was real. They was talking about something, honey. There ain't nobody know what that was. But anyway, I remember after I found out, I was so brokenhearted. I was walking up, I was pacing, and I was just praying in my light language because I did not know what to pray. I did not know what to pray. I didn't know. And all I remember saying is, if anybody out there can hear me, please send help. These babies need help, and nobody can't even help them, because the only people that know that it's going on are the people that's involved, and the people that's literally trapping these babies. Like, these are traps set for these children, and their parents are so unaware. They will send their children with these people on trips. They will send these people with them, and little ones just be disappearing. I mean, there was a bus driver, the story of this bus driver. He was a part of the let's call it the syndicate. He was a part of the syndicate. And so when children would go missing, this was back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, when children would go missing and end up on the back of milk cartons, right? You remember that? They had it making it think some crazy person was out there snatching these children. Whole time, a lot of these children would get on the bus and never get off, because if they're the last child on the bus would skip their stop and just keep driving and go into this tunnel. Bus driver get out, the child still on the bus wondering what's happening. Next thing you know, somebody come in and get that child, never to be heard from again, and they end up on the back of a milk carton. But this was orchestrated. You see what I'm saying? The children who didn't have parents looking after them, the latchkey children and things like that. They were the ones the bus driver would watch. The bus driver know when they're going to, where they're going to put them. I mean, what stop they're going to drop them off at. He watching, because he knows that these little children they're going to walk 6 blocks by themselves. He report to the syndicate, and somebody come and snatch up the baby. All orchestrated. Child just go missing. But whole time, there's teachers saying, hey, we got one that the parents never pay attention. We've noticed that he come to school in the same clothes several times a day. Obviously, the parent is not, 100% involved. Those are the children that go missing, and they have trap doors that lead down into tunnels where the schools are, where the projects are. Projects was always next to railroad tracks, because up under the projects and in some of those empty project apartments are trap doors that lead to tunnels, and children who be out there playing, parents not paying attention, all of a sudden just go missing, and you don't really never hear about it. Once the neighborhood start talking about it, the news don't report it. They don't keep reporting on it because the news is a part of it. Oh my God, y'all, I can't. Ooh. So anyway, let me get back on track. I'm sorry. I just, y'all have to know my foundation. So anyway, it's now clear that Earth humanity has suffered tremendously through satanic ritual abuse practices that has included parasitic attachments and possessions of the human souls. Additionally, the mind programming, mind sliding program via holographic inserts devised and executed by the negative aliens have been responsible for inflicting all forms of extremely abusive pains and sufferings on humanity, effectuated through sexual misery, violence, war, and futile bloodshed, misogyny, addictions, leading to siphoning human energies while they are condemned to a sleeper state via mind slate programming. And the very act of human abduction, sexual mutilations, harvesting of human sperm and ovum for performing involuntary genetic experimentation and hybridization, usage of human bodies to form cloning replicant bodies, soul capture technology, all constitute extreme violations to the sanctity of human souls. y'all, when I tell y'all just, you don't even know how much you have been targeted until you get into this and you find out everything is a trap. And I'm going to keep saying this to the young lady a couple of years ago who got so frustrated with me, was following me and got so frustrated after a while and said, everything ain't a goddamn trap. And I was like, who you talking to, honey? Because you still eating meat. So you still out here eating meat. Obviously, you have a veil over your eyes and a barrier to the truth. Because if you knew even half of what I know, you would take that out your mouth. Who you talking to? And got upset because every time I was, and I'm here to expose this stuff that I know about. And back then, this information was not readily available. It was coming down through me. I was being downloaded with this information. And I'm sharing it, and she going, every time you say something, it's a trap. Baby, listen, they put pork in the paint. Do you understand? The paint that you paint on your walls has pork in it. Just sit down and ask yourself why. Why is that? Why is pork in everything? Why do pork need to be in Cheetos? Huh? Why do pork need to be in Cheetos and all this stuff and jelly? Why do you think that's necessary? You don't think that they could have found a vegetable or a fruit counterpart? I'm just going to say this. Pork or swine or pig is the closest thing to a human. Okay? Let's just leave it at that. To a human. So everybody is under the curse of Baal. Under the curse of Baal. Blood, DNA, cannibalism. You are consuming human DNA everywhere. That's why they push bacon so much. I remember bacon was on everything. They was putting bacon on ice cream sundaes. Y'all remember that? It was a period of time where bacon was just being pushed. Bacon on everything. Everybody had this. It was like they was under a spell of bacon. It was Baal. And that also was a trap. So anyway, I hope that young lady listening, because I'm still teaching the same thing. I'm still trying to free humanity. And now here's my confirmation showing you that all this stuff was traps for human souls. Soul capture technology all constitute extreme violation to the sanctity of human souls. Soul capture. All these traps are to trap your soul, everything, okay? And due to the lack of readily available data, like I just said, information wasn't out there, gathering of intel with regard to the exact nature discovery of such atrocities committed on the human soul often requires direct abduction or contact experience to be able to effectively relay this information to the guardians and their allies who are currently hosting the ascension of Earth and humanity. Then I just tell you, STARSEEDS report back. STARSEEDS have been incarnated in. STARSEEDS are these children who have been abducted for the last 100 or so years. They're the ones. It required direct abduction and contact, so that we could go back and we could specifically tell the Intergalactic Association of Free Worlds, okay, the Guardians are over that alliance. The Guardian Alliance are actually, they're all apart, they're all together, but the Guardians are at the very tippy top, right after Source. Okay, and at the end of their tour of duty, STARSEEDS, when the mission of the STARSEEDS are accomplished at the end of their ascension cycle, the STARSEEDS will have the opportunity to return to their home worlds. Now, I know some STARSEEDS are saying that they're deploying out. It's a lot of STARSEEDS deploying out. I've lost a lot of communication and contact with some STARSEEDS who are completely done with their missions. I myself was given the opportunity to renegotiate my contract, and I extended it for another 10 years to do work on 5D as an ambassador and a teacher to teach the new ambassadors or lay the foundation and teach them, pass the mantle on. When my 10 years are up, then I have the opportunity to leave. Okay? All right. Because regardless of what these narratives that you see running, at the end of the day, it's still a teaching simulator. It's still a holographic teaching simulation. Yes, it was taken over, but there are still souls that have to come through and move through as a part of their ascension process or evolution process. So we have to set that 5D foundation. Now that we are out of quarantine and Gaia is ascending as well with her inhabitants, now we have to go and set the new world. We have to get it ready, because individuals who have not been able to ascend for millions of years are now able to step out. So this is a huge undertaking. So if you're a part of the ascension team and a part of the ambassadors, light workers, way showers, vanguards that's getting 5D new earth ready, you know, that's a grand undertaking, you know, and you should feel honored to be a part of that. Okay, so, and the exact way that this will occur is through the use of Mother Arc star portals to provide a passage to the Andromeda Galaxy, and from there on reaching the neutron window that will open up, ultimately connecting the 3D Earth to the transharmonic gateways, allowing the starseeds to reconnect and return to their home frequency. All right, so we're going to stop at 45 minutes, so I think we're going to read through this. How can the starseeds help Earth humanity? Note, a conscious planet is the product of the conglomerate set of consciousness of all its inhabitants who have anchored their consciousness energy there, effectively giving rise to the overall morphogenic of the planet via the advent of the consciousness grid and its axonal lines that is driven by or interfaces with the collective consciousness of its inhabitants. As we expand our consciousness and build different or activate layers of our light bodies, this is disseminated and shared singly, separately, and individually by all other human beings and affect the consciousness of a larger mass to eventually render a critical mass. So in other words, starseeds came here. One of the main reasons one of the main jobs starseeds had was to come in and start immediately raising their frequency once they were set to awaken. Once they got their call to awaken, you start working on your body. Listen, I started waking up in 2012, just like most starseeds did. 2012. 2013 or 14, I was poisoned by my doctor, right? It took several years for me to realize that my higher guidance was trying to send me messages and tell me I was sick. Once I said, once I had the forethought to say, is somebody trying to tell me something? All these darn synchronicities, like at a certain point, it's not a coincidence. Like somebody is trying to reach me. And as soon as I said that, it's like I gave them permission to start communicating, and they start communicating. They have not stopped since. They were trying to tell me I had been poisoned by my doctor, that my blood, the treatment that she gave me was poisoning me because my blood is copper based, whereas she treated me as if my blood was iron based, and it's not. I'm Rh negative. So I had all this stuff going on. I've told this story before. I had all this stuff going on, hair coming out, getting real brittle, tongue peeling, skin, I was sweating, and I had this smell that I guess I can only attribute to the blood transfusions that they gave me, and then all the iron that they pumped into my blood just did me in. Anyway, through that process, even though that happened, I believe that all was orchestrated. Well, no, I can honestly say it all was orchestrated, because what it did was it led me to do the work, to raise my frequency, to detox my body. I had to detox all of my organs one by one, clean out my colon, then start purifying my blood. I had to do all of this, and my higher guidance was literally teaching me this. I was getting these downloads. I would just wake up in the morning with information. And as I was getting these downloads, just like any other human, you have to have confirmation. And they started giving me confirmation. So a lot of times when you see me sharing information from other people, because usually I do not listen to other people because I don't want to echo anything that they say. Everything I put out there, I know that it came from my higher guidance first. Then I always come across somebody who is a confirmation of what I've been told. A lot of people be getting it backwards. They be thinking that I get my information from these people. No, these people confirm what I have already been told, and I be sharing it to let people know. I said this back in 2018. Now we're coming across the exact same details and information. That's a confirmation for you guys, so you know I am who I say I am. I am a true starseed that's bringing in information. Because what I find is that people be coming looking at me sideways like, I don't believe that she connected to them people like that. Because, see, you know, only white people can be connected with people like that. Because, you know, if a white person said, we'll believe it. But I don't know. Because, see, you ain't talking like the other black people. Like, you ain't over there talking to Oshun and, Yemen, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You ain't over there talking to the Orishas. You really literally saying that you talking to some ETs and aliens. So that don't sound right. Let me watch you. Let me sit back here in the cut because I'm finna look through all your stuff and make sure, because you sound like you lying. I read energy. Now I know that sounded real ignorant, but I read energy, and that's a lot of times when people come, and this is not everybody. I mean, there are Star family members who genuinely been riding with me long enough, and they've seen these confirmations back to back to back until you cannot explain it away. I'm talking about the people who flow in and out of my frequency. They come in, and a lot of times they're not supporters, they're surveyors, they're surveying, they're doing surveillance, they're watching to see if they could catch me in a lie, if they could get some information and piece it together and be like, aha, I see such and such. Ashiana Dean said that you got that from her. No, I did not. She confirmed a lot of information that I was already given. I had secret groups, as a matter of fact. I had a group called DA13 Disclosure. Some of my soul family members was in it from years back, when I was piecing this information together, and I was literally getting every day. I was coming in, I was like, "Ooh, this is what they told me. This is what they told me. Ooh, they told me to go here and look at this and look at this." I was piecing the pieces together, and I have family members who saw me working through it as information was coming down, and then we were being led to some of these other teachers who had similar information, and it would help us connect dots. So yeah, that's really how this is going, and I'm not the only individual. That's not what I'm saying. It's millions of us. Some still asleep, some that will never wake up to their mission. But thankfully, I'm completely awake and aware on this mission, and I'm doing my job, and I'm going to move forward. Hopefully, I have helped a lot of people wake up. Especially if they're on this particular journey. If you are a Vanguard or Wayshore, one of the things I like to say is I'm not here for everybody. I'm not a part of the ones who are here to wake up the masses. I'm here and I'm putting out information that have triggers and activation codes in it, because I'm looking for certain individuals. I'm looking for the individuals like me who have the encryptions of this information in them to move forward, because we're going to we're helping with 5D. People who are just starting out, you know, sometimes they make their way over and feel some kind of way because I talk a certain way, like I said, my tone, and you know, because you in kindergarten, and then I'm saying that with love, you still need to be woo woo wooed, and that's not what I do. I don't do that. So if you over here, that means you know, you got on your big girl panties. You can take when I'm telling y'all, get to work. This what you need to be doing. I'm not finna coddle you. I'm sorry that you always crying about something, but go and handle that, and then come back over here. Go handle that, because by the time you get on this side of the mission, it's time to work. You done worked on yourself. You've done that. Like, you already know. You got the downloads. You don't need nobody to sugarcoat nothing. You came in here with the encryption, so you know what it is. You just getting to work. It's like, okay, when I say let's go, you finding your boots, you finding your gear. Where's your gun? Where is your helmet? Come on, let's go. Put on your vest. We out. If I got to sit on the side of the bed and console you all the time and telling you to get it together, that da 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 da, you in the wrong place. And I said, like I said, I say that with love, but I don't have time for that kind of stuff. I'm looking for the ones who are here to get to work because you know what you came in here for. That's it. That's all. All right. So, where were we? We're going to wrap it up. This is the end part. Let's see. As we expand our consciousness and build different or activate layers of our light bodies, this is disseminated and shared singly, separately, and individually by all other human beings and affect the consciousness of a larger mass to eventually render a critical mass. The author has previously modeled the process of collective consciousness of mass comprised as sentient human beings, each being represented by a harmonic resonator comprised of two primary elements, conscious expansibility and constitution. In this respect, the consciousness expansibility element behaves as spring element that when connected to another sentient being with the same configuration, the consciousness of one sentient human being influences those of others connected to it through a concept that is dubbed as the conscious expansibility link coefficient. Now, I'm going to wrap it up, but breaking that down, you notice this individual used the harmonic resonator. What you're going to find is everybody that I'm connected with, every light leader or light teacher that I come across is one that my higher divine has put in my frequency, in my consciousness field for a particular reason. What you will also notice is all of these teachers have the same information. Now it may be worded a little differently, but you will notice a common thread through all of their teachings, because these individuals are light leaders, starseeds. They have come in. They all have the very same encryption. They're all getting very similar or the same downloads. You'll notice that this individual mentioned harmonic resonator. You'll also notice that Marina Jacoby has a book called The Harmonic Resonator. Is it harmonic resonance? Where in her book, she has the diagrams. She's getting downloads. And I resonate with her because the same information that she received, I was receiving. She has more of the technicalities, the technical, how the quantum structure works and how it interacts with the quantum field, and how you have your own quantum structure, which is your personal reality, but it's within a collective quantum structure, in a collective reality that is a holographic reality, and it can all be changed and manipulated simply by thought. I already knew that, but I explain it in a different way. In other words, let's put it this way. Each individual has a unique expression because they have to explain it to a particular demographic or a particular set of individuals. Marina Jacoby, there's information that some individuals, when they hear it, it's going in one ear and out the other because it's on such a high frequency, the way she explains it, because she's trying to attract certain individuals who are on a certain level. Me, when I'm speaking, I can break it down to where anybody who's just coming in or just newly awakening can understand the information. And I've had so many people say that, how, oh my God, you've taken these complicated concepts, broken them down so that we can understand them. Like that's my gift. I can take it and bring it down your street, make it make sense to you in your everyday life. When you listen to Marina Jacoby, honey, she giving coordinates and all type of hertz and frequencies, and she's doing it on that level. Most people are not there. They can't understand that or understand that. So that same information she got, I got it in a different way. And when I filtered it through and bring it down, like even there's information I'm going to teach on that's going to literally say the information has to be broken down. Hemisync. It was Hemisync that I was listening to. Hemisync was literally explaining how that process works, how an individual who can tap in their mind can literally tap into the superconscious mind, bring information down, which is essentially their higher self, bring information down. And when they get the information, it's so heavy until you can't even explain it. You can't even articulate it. And I say this all the time. I say, please forgive me if when I'm teaching and I start getting a download, it sounds like I'm going, like I'm babbling, like I'm going in circles. The reason why is because when I'm getting a download at that time, it's hard to translate it and put it into English words, because when you get a download, it's going directly from heart to the mind. I'm sorry, from the mind to the heart, and they speak to you through your heart. I can't explain this unless you've experienced it, but the information is like you need some days in order to process it and put it down in the words. So by the time, a lot of times when I'm doing teachings, why I don't do a whole lot of them is because I found that it takes so long to get the messages translated and get the wisdom put down to where people can really understand it. Like I can just literally put it out there. And if I just put it out there the way it's given to me, it'll be like Maria Jacoby's information. It'll be like, if you have looked in Maria Jacoby's books, you cannot tell me that you can read that and explain that shit to somebody. You can't. And that's the difference. When you know your stuff, when you know it, you can explain it to a 5-year-old. You can explain it to a 5th grader. But if you don't know it, if you don't really know it, like internalize it, you can't explain it to nobody. So anybody can get Maria's information and read it. But if you had to turn around and teach it, you could not. I, on the other hand, can to a certain degree, because when I look at her information, I'm like, oh, she's using this term for that. I know it is something different. So that's pretty much how this goes. We all have our unique expression. We all have our unique way of teaching it, but when I get ready to teach, I haven't done book studies in a while, but when I teach, I like to use visual aids for that very reason. I use visual aids and I use confirmations of other people that I'm connected to. I literally don't listen to other people out there who not on this particular frequency, the Guardian Alliance information. If they're not teaching an aspect of that, I'm generally not interested. I'm not interested because I don't want their information to dilute or try or come in and, you know what I'm saying, muddy up what I'm doing. I have a clear communication line, and when my higher guidance tells me, okay, listen to this person, look at this person, and I look at them and they are in alignment with something that I've already been told, at that point I will start listening to that individual, a little bit more, because I know that they have the next tier of information for me to learn, absorb, and then start teaching. All right. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up right there, because look, we done went 4 minutes over, 49 minutes, and you probably sleep. Well, anyway, we'll be back because we're going to wrap it up. Let's see how much more we got. We got a lot. But like I said, this is probably the only one of these that I'm going to do this series, because it's very important. And I wanted to get it out there, information about the Starseeds. I'm going to have a whole channel, a whole playlist dedicated to these teachings for people who are interested. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys listening. Peace, love, and blessings, Divine Naga.